sadly, one of the things that has happened is, people have created a narrative that is absolutely not true. Number one, the narrative was created, excuse me, that I raised the money at my church, that I kept the people at my church hostage until I raised $40,000 for me. That's the narrative that has been shared, that I locked folks up in my church, that, I made them give $40,000 and I wouldn't allow them to leave until they gave it to me. And to be honest with you, that is absolutely false.
Yeah.
Number one, that offering was taken last year. This was a service that happened last August. Number two, it didn't happen at my local church. It actually happened at a national organization's international meeting where churches from all over the country, all over the world came together for the purpose of celebrating the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. People took issue with me saying, shut the doors. Understand, I never said lock the doors.
Yeah.
I said shut the doors. Shutting doors mean that people still have the ability to go in and out. They've taken issue with my tone. And I can honestly say, looking at the video, maybe I was a little more assertive than I should have been. And I can apologize for that. But three things I need to make sure that people understood. Number one, the $40,000, if it was $40,000 that was raised, was never given to me. That money was raised for the purpose of taking care of the budget for their conference, not Marvin Sapp. Number two, it didn't happen at my church. It happened in Baltimore. Number three, people take issue with me being firm with the ushers. Anybody that goes to church, ushers one-on-one, that's the first thing they teach you as being an usher, is that there are 3 times you don't walk. You don't walk during the altar call. You don't walk during prayer. You don't walk during the offering. One of the reasons being is because of the sacredness of the moment. But it's also about security. As a pastor, we understand and we know that churches are being robbed at gunpoint.
Come on, man. Stop, bro. Stop, bro. Let's be real. So the reality is that him saying shut the doors, when it comes to asking to raise, and the context of it is before he said shut the doors, he was already going to start the raise for this conference. It had nothing to do with security. It had anything to do with that. Now, he may be accurate when it comes to the security of what goes on inside of these churches or whatever, so on and so forth. That's cool. However, that had nothing to do with this. Secondly, if they didn't raise enough money or they didn't make enough money for this conference, then they shouldn't have been put on for the conference. You can't bully people, and this is why people hate church. And I don't care whatever it is, the context and taking out of context, whatever. It's nothing that you can do to clean it up and explain it. You can't first say, well, I can apologize, while at the same time not apologizing and spending the majority of the time trying to justify why it made sense for you to say the things that you see. It had nothing to do with the tone, had nothing to do with none of that. The reality is if they were trying to make money on the conference because the purpose of the conference was not to bring people together to praise Jesus, because, you know what I'm saying, you could figure that out, or maybe you need to get some sponsors or something like that. But if you're basically bullying people to get there, and the purpose of church is to make sure that you give insight and information on how you're supposed to live your life that ultimately results in you getting to heaven and improving this earth and making it a better space had you not been here, then that's the full context. But the reality is that they were raising money, and a lot of these conferences are to raise money so that people can get paid. I'm just telling you the real. I don't know about this conference in particular, but basically what he's saying, it aligns with that narrative. And so for me, personally, I still think that it looks bad. I still think that it's a bad representation of the church. It's one of the reasons why a lot of people have a difficult time going to church. And honestly, I didn't even see no apology so far, but I'll continue to play the video and then we'll go from there.
It's happening all over the country. This is not something I'm making up. This is factual. So if you got 5,000 people in the room, you want the doors closed. You don't want the doors locked. I couldn't get them locked anyway. It's a convention center. But the doors needed to be closed, and there was a lot of pandemonium and stuff that was going on out there. But I wanted to share that first. But that ain't even the reason why I'm here. Here's the reason why I'm here. The reason why I'm here is because what has happened is people have taken clickbait and made something out of it that it isn't.
Cap.
And because of that, my church has been getting phone calls. People have called my church and cussed me out. My staff are afraid because I've received death threats over $20 and
I don't believe that. I'm going to be honest with you, fam. I don't believe that they are getting death threats to where they feel or are physically, and it could be true, and I could be 100% wrong, but I don't believe this at all, man. I just don't. I'm not going for it. And I think that a lot of times we like to exaggerate the fact that people may have called up there and felt some type of way and cussed them out. And if I was them, I wouldn't care, because if they don't go to your church and if they're not contributing to what you got going on, then what difference do it make? But you feel compelled to come on a Rickey Smiley morning show because he is your friend, and you feel compelled to come up here and say whatever it is that you wanted to say, right or wrong, because you felt some kind of pressure from the public and the people. That's what I see.
shut the door. People have come to our campus. They have come to my church to try to cause problems, issues, challenges.
Sound like the same thing again, Elon Musk is going through, right?
My children, I don't look at comments. We was talking about this. I don't read comments. When you got millions of followers, you ain't got time to be reading all the comments. You just don't have it. Right. My children do. And they are afraid. And the reason being is because I'm their only parent. I'm a widower. They're afraid for my safety. So now we've had to update and increase security and all the things I've never had to do before because of the vitriol and the anger that people have shown, the things that they've said in my...
Now, I don't believe that people should be out here threatening people. I don't believe that people should be out here making threats or any of that type of stuff at all. Like, I don't care what side of the fence that you on. I don't care if you agree with them or disagree with them. I think that every threat should be taken seriously, and people need to go to jail, and they need to be addressed and dealt with accordingly. So with regard to that, I think that people need to shut the fuck up and leave them alone. However, the other side of it is he's using this to justify, in my opinion, he's using this to justify and scapegoat away from the main part of the story and the subject as to whether or not you actually are wrong or right about saying the things that you're saying, and if this is a greater reflection of the black church. I think that that's the bigger issue.
In my thread and stuff, and all of this is because of a misunderstanding. And I'm not blaming people. Let me be clear. I'm not blaming anybody because of their misunderstanding. I'm just saying in all you're getting, get an understanding. And if I'm sharing with you that the $40,000 that I was trying to raise, and again, I don't know if the organization got 40, 10, 20, any of it. I don't know. I'm hoping that I actually raised more money so that I can help the organization that has been such a great support to me. These people.
And again, let's be clear. Not a dime of that money.
Not a dime of that money came to me. Not a dime of it.
It doesn't matter. That's irrelevant.
I've been blessed. I've been extremely blessed. I've sold millions of records. Millions. I'm a songwriter.
How much have you gotten paid from, and we on Radio Live.
Right.
How much have you gotten paid from your church? I'm just saying.
Okay, so
tell me
Rickey,
what you said during the commercial.
Tell you, what people don't know is that I pastored 16 years in the city of Grand Rapids, Michigan. I founded my church. I pastored 16 years. We had a great church. Still have a great church there. 16 years of pastoring, I never got paid a dime. That's a fact. 16 years. You can call the church. You can ask them. I pastored the Lighthouse for Life Center Church in Grand Rapids, Michigan for free for 16 years. 9 years of those 16 years, I gave a minimum of $30,000 a month to my church. Wow. 30 grand a month to my church to ensure that the church could go forward. We had a lot of stuff. I had a college campus that we had bought. We had 3 other campuses. And my membership had dwindled after my wife had passed because I had to travel more in order to take care of me and my kids.
Right.
So, my membership, it dwindled, but we never lost anything. And as a matter of fact, this is factual. The day I announced the new pastor, I burned the mortgage of the church. When I left Grand Rapids, I left my church not only debt free, but I left them with 6 figures in the bank and put a brand new pastor in and walked away and moved to Texas.
And I think that that's beautiful. I think that that is absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous, awesome. He should be commended for that. And I think that we need to bring more visibility to the people that do good things in the community, and it should not go unheralded. However, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. We're trying to sit here and have a conversation about one thing, and you're pivoting because I'm talking about the state of the black church. I don't believe that he took one dime that was raised. But people hate going to church because of the narrative and the way that they're talked to and the fact that it's so money hungry and they're always trying to raise money for something instead of asking people to give willingly. Let me know what y'all think about Marvin Sapp's apology, not apology. I don't know if he was going to apologize later in the video. Let me know what y'all think about it. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.